Welcome to the July 2020 version of Financial Fridays here at TUCSS.
The Uncensored Credit Score Show.
I'm Tony Budri, and this is the infamous...
My name is Shiva Bhaskar. Tony didn't mention he is a mortgage loan originator extraordinaire, and I'm a consumer rights attorney. And we're going to be answering your most pressing questions about credit and finance from around the web, as well as from our own customers. So the first one is actually one that Tony's going to take away, and I am going to be asking him. And this is username Kathy Lake. That's her real name, I'm not sure, but Kathy Lake has a question. Kathy's question is, my boyfriend and I have been together for several years and are pretty serious. The issue is he does not have good credit and has not taken it seriously in the past. I'm worried that he won't in the future, and I want us to be able to buy a home and finance other things for our family. How should I go about convincing him to take his credit and his finances more seriously and handle things? Tony, what should Kathy do?
Ah, man. Well, that's a great question. And there's multiple parts to it. So I say, Kathy, a credit score reveals so much about a person, not just their financial patterns, but their mindset and their process and how they really kind of perceive things. If this is someone that you've been with for quite some time, and that he's someone that you want to build a family and a future with, you want to build it with the mindset of stability and prosperity. That's what it takes to have really kind of a stable relationship. So what you want to do, you got to work with him so in where he sees the vision of actually having a good credit score, because it will open up the gate to financial prosperity. Considering everything else being equal, let's say your income versus you spending, let's say, $1,500 on a mortgage, you might be spending $1,200 on your mortgage. If you're spending $400 on your car note, you might be spending $300 on that. So having good credit score opens up the door to financial prosperity, and that is just part of being financially responsible and financially healthy. So help him develop some better financial habits, like, let's say, paying his credit cards on time. And even, let's say, he has some debt from before, help him develop some sort of a repayment plan, some sort of way to kind of like tackle his debts and really build up his credit. Because if you guys are going to kind of take your relationship to the next level, where you guys have become married and you will have joint credit scores, later on, even if you have supreme credit and his credit is the lower credit, when it comes to, especially in the mortgage world, when it comes to buying a house, we will use the lower middle credit score. And in this instance, it will be his. And if his is exponentially lower than yours, then both of you will be penalized by having a much higher rate. So yes, what you want to do is you really want to kind of implore him to uptake better financial habits. And, fixing your credit is just a strategy. It takes a little bit of time. Anybody can do it, and we're here to help with that. But you want to implore him for the sake of himself, you as a couple, and then later on as a family, and for having just a more prosperous life and not a frivolous life where you're spending so much money on late fees and exuberant interest rates to work on his credit. And one of the great ways to start that is just maybe checking out our free book.
Yeah.
So yes, it will really kind of just motivate him.
I agree completely. I think what Tony said to Kathy is correct. I think a lot of times you got to tell a story and put things into perspective.
Yes.
So her fiance or boyfriend, I'm sorry, not fiance yet. We don't know his name. We'll call him Sean. Sean, okay. I know there's a lot of Seans out there with good credit. Sorry, Seans, but we got to use Sean this time, okay? So Sean may not fully have sort of quantified or realized the impact of credit in the sense what Tony just told you, that the same house can cost $1,500 a month versus $1,200 a month, or that sort of variance. That may not be something that Sean is really aware of, or he may not know that buying a home in many parts of the country is cheaper than renting, or what it's going to do when he could save with credit card points versus paying for vacation. He may not know that. Now, the unfortunate part of what Kathy, I guess we have to say, if Sean is not willing to consider that and does not see it as a priority, even after Kathy explains this, then as we've all had to do in relationships, as all of us guys have heard before, we got to talk.
Yes.
Okay, it's
Yes.
time for you to tell him we got to talk and have a real
Absolutely.
discussion about this.
Absolutely. 64% of marriages get broken up over financial matters. And credit is a direct determinant of someone's financial responsibility. It predicts what they're likely to do. And also, there's an actual dating site called Credit Score Dating, meant for people who just want to be matched based on their credit behavior. So yes, there's a correlation.
And to add to what Tony just said, there has been talk about websites like Coffee Meets Bagel and Hinge and others, including not credit score data, but including general questions about finances when they're trying to better match people up. So it is going to be something that any of us has to deal with. So,
It's really, really important. All right. Well, we'll have another great question. This question is actually, you know what? I think you'll be better answering this question. So the question goes like this, you guys, right? It says, if I co-sign a sibling's car loan and she keeps making the payments, will it affect my credit scores positively?
The answer is yes. In most cases, it will impact it positively. So when you co-sign a loan, an auto loan in this case, for another person, that account is going to appear on your credit reports. It should appear on all three of your credit reports because most auto lenders report to all three of the credit bureaus. So once you've co-signed the loan, within a month or two, it's going to say how much is owed and it's going to report the payments. So yes, co-signing could help your credit score, but that's assuming that your sibling always pays on time. I don't want to say far more often, but often enough, one of the issues that we have seen come up is a sibling or a parent and a child or a friend, two friends. One co-signs for the other, and the reason they're co-signing is the other either had bad credit or no credit, and the one who had bad credit or no credit ends up making late payments, unfortunately. And then what happens, that negatively impacts the credit of the person who co-signed because they had good credit, and having a single late payment can reduce your score by 80 to 100 points. And that's not even taking into account if you had a really bad situation where they could not pay at all and the car was repossessed. I don't say that to scare you or say your sister will do any of those things, but it's important to be mindful that not only can your credit benefit from co-signing, that's if they pay on time, it also can be damaged if the other party does not pay on time. And so if you're going to co-sign for someone else, my advice generally, and this is Tony and I very much overlap on this, my advice is if you can at all avoid it, don't co-sign for other people. Now that you have, I suggest staying in touch regularly and staying on top of what your sister is doing so that hopefully she benefits your credit score, but also having a backup plan in the event that she pays late or something happens, or if she runs into financial trouble, then remember, you signed for the loan, you're responsible. So if you want to preserve your credit, that could involve if she has a financial issue, maybe you make a payment that month, she reimburses you later. Whatever it is, really need to stay on top of it. I would actually suggest you can often add someone as a second user to an account, or because you co-sign, I would suggest also having to log into the account or setting up your own login on the loan and keeping an eye to make sure it's being paid. Just keep an eye on it, be vigilant, and have a backup plan, and hopefully it does benefit your credit score, but if not, you'll be prepared.
Absolutely. Fantastic answer. Yeah, there you go. Shiva just gave you, both sides of the coin. Positively, it can, as long as they maintain that payment history timely. And I just want to share an update with you guys. I actually, saw this earlier on Twitter, and it's from Representative Sylvia Garcia, and it has to do with Protecting Your Credit Score Act. And this is something that actually gets past the House. And here's what it proposes in a nutshell. I think it's really, really important, especially during these, turmoil times. A lot of folks are concerned about their finances and their credit. And, once the economy opens back up, what will happen? So here is how, here's the four main points that were proposed. It says have free and unlimited access to credit reports and scores, easily dispute errors, place or remove security freezes to stop fraud, and track and secure credit data. So what the representative essentially has proposed is an actual online portal for folks to access these four things without any obstruction, without any kind of resistance, without going through the loopholes of annualcreditreport.com, etc. So we support this. I think it's a great layer of protection for consumers, and We're all for it.
Yeah, it's really fantastic. Keep in mind, folks, as Tony just said, very important, this passed the House. It has not passed the Senate.
Yeah.
And if we're being frank, it probably won't. So it's something that we're going to all continue advocating for.
Yes.
And it would be really helpful. But in the meantime, keep using Credit Karma for your Equifax and TransUnion reports. Experian.com for Experian. Yeah. And as you know, the Credit Karma scores don't really count much. Vantage is not the score that you need to know. FICO is. But keep an eye on your 3 reports there, and also make sure you're checking annual credit report regularly. They are giving free reports from all the bureaus once every week from now through April 2021. So definitely take advantage of that, as annoying as that website can be to use.
Indeed. Stay safe out there, America.
Yeah, thanks for joining. Keep safe. We know everything that's going on with COVID and everything else, so just be aware. Hope everyone has a wonderful time. Whenever you have questions about credit, finances, if you mess up your finances over July 4th, whatever it may be, I've done that. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're here to help. Thanks for joining.
Take care.